Yo, what is going on, everybody? Welcome to another stream for this beautiful Wednesday morning, I think it is. I've lost track of which days it is, but I got my boy Alpha Villains in the booth here. I had you on the other day, Alpha Villains and AV, and man, we were making some magic.
We were cooking, man. You made me look good, man. So I appreciate that, man.
Actually, it's funny you use the word cooking, because I was working last night so I got a call last minute saying, hey, can you work from 10 p.m. until like whenever they need you? And I looked on Google Maps and I saw that they close at 3 a.m. I was like, oh man, 3 a.m. Okay, I'll get 3 a.m. I'll get home by 3:30. I'll get to bed. I'll get 3 hours of sleep, and then I'll jump on with RSB. And lo and behold, I get home at 4 o'clock so first of all, I find out that they're closing at 4, not 3.
Right.
And then at 4, I was like, did you need me for anything? And she goes, oh, we just need to stay while we cash up, because they're emptying poker machines, right? So I'm home at like 5 o'clock.
Bro,
I get
to fumes, man. You're on fumes, dude. I said it to you backstage, man. I respect the grind. It's something that grind and grit is something that a lot of younger people don't have, man. So I know that the majority of your audience, not necessarily the majority, but a lot, you reach a lot of people, all age brackets. So you're definitely leading by example as far as doing what you need to do to make it happen and fulfill your commitment to the audience to make sure that you continue to walk people off the ledge, man, and talk about topics that people may need some clarification on, despite you being tired as hell. So I respect that.
I appreciate that. I have much respect to you. By the way, shout out to you, brother. Thank you for sending me the shirt. I'm the space she needed. Any of you guys want to actually check out some of AV's shirts? He's got some great stuff. He's got the No Sympathy you're seeing all over the net. Myron Gaines is wearing it. Young Men's Daily Red Pill's wearing it. It's everywhere. So if you want to check out all these things and look at,
I figured I'd rock this one today. The peace over PUSSY. No more drama.
Peace over sleeve.
Yeah, yes, peace over the peace sleeve. You know what I mean? No more drama. You got choices in life, man. You gotta make sure that you choose wisely. So that way, you can build yourself a life that you deserve. So I appreciate you, man.
And AV has been kind enough to give all of my listeners a discount code. I've got a link to his store in the description below. You can check out all the shirts. They've got hoodies. I know it's getting cold in Canada.
Yeah, I'm gonna send you one too, bro. Yep.
I appreciate it.
I don't know how when it gets cold in Australia, but when it does, I got you. You already know that.
No, look, we're opposite to you guys, so it's just getting warm now.
Oh, okay. Well, all right, that's cool.
Next,
I'm not going anywhere, man. So when it gets warm for us, I'll be sending you a Christmas card when it's summertime over here.
Sounds good, man. I appreciate that. So, look, AV, let's get into it, man, because I got a few topics that I want to talk to you about.
Let's dive right in.
Now, you mentioned that you hadn't actually heard much about this, but as you may or may not know, Joe Rogan recently signed a
$100 million
for $100 million. Right, exactly. Now, the SJW purple-haired rhinoceros and the soy-drinking simps at Spotify staff members, by the way, they're on about 120 to 130,000 US dollars a year. These people, most between 100 to 130,000 US.
Got it.
So that's fat coin.
Sure.
And they're threatening to strike during economic hard times because they don't like some of Joe Rogan's content, and they're saying, we're going to strike unless you allow us to block uploads of episodes that we think are problematic. And we also want to be able to cut out snippets that we think are problematic as well. They basically want complete editorial control over Joe Rogan's content. And they even pulled that shit without even saying anything when everything was being migrated across, because we noticed there was certain episodes that were missing from that catalog.
Okay.
And the SJWs behind the scenes pulling the strings. And, I got to tell you, Matt, mad respect to Spotify's CEO who's standing up and be like, nah, like, I hear your concerns. I appreciate it, but he's staying.
That is Well, let's back up a little bit. Whatever happened to freedom of speech? Let's start there. I think we've given people too many choices, and I think the rest of the world is laughing at us in America because we've come up with names like soy boy and pussification of people. You know, everyone can be offended about anything, and there are no guidelines. And you know, it says a lot about people who get offended about perceptions or certain truths that are out there. That says a lot because you're striking a nerve. You're hitting a nerve. You know, women do it all the time, and they're not necessarily slapped on the wrist for it. So I think it really confirms the content that you put out, and a lot of content that other people are putting out, that, you know, there is a big discrepancy as far as the truth and what is allowed to be said. And it sends a wrong message to our young kids because, you know, young boys will be very timid and not assertive to speak their mind. And that's part of being a man, being assertive and going after what you want. So I think it sends a very bad message over here, man. So that's unacceptable.
Right. By the way, this is a Japanese soy milk.
Damn, soy boy. Nah, that's not gonna work. That's not gonna work, bro. Nah, that doesn't work. Because again, if you really look at soy, you know, all the ingredients and all the negative associations with it, man, for a man, it's not a good look. You know what I mean? It's filled with estrogen, and it kind of simmers you down, and it kind of takes away from your innate ability to be masculine. So
yeah, so for people that don't understand, like if you just hear soy boys and it's just like a slang term to them and they don't understand the mechanics behind it, soy, particularly the processed soy that you find in a lot of these products, is very cheap to produce, which is the reason why they're doing it, is it actually contains phytoestrogens. And what phytoestrogens are is they're a particular compound which, I don't know if compound is the right word, but they mimic real estrogen. So it's not even natural estrogen. Because if it was natural estrogen, the body, based on your chromosomes, your neurology and your biology, it'll work to balance those out. But it can't actually balance out something that's artificial, that's not, you know, natural.
Right. Yeah, I mean, and that's the majority of our food and stuff that we're ingesting, man. Everything is pretty much artificial due to the population and just, you know, the companies that are creating it. It's just everything is out of whack, bro. Everything is out of whack, and I kind of understand why people are affected by it. But, you know, for me in particular, I try to be cognizant of what's going on, but at the same time, I try not to let it affect me. You know, what women are doing, the state of the economy, I try to navigate accordingly because, again, as a man, you have to be resourceful and you have to figure it out. You know, a lot of people, when you say figure it out, they don't even know what the hell you're talking about. They can't figure it out. If it's not on Google, if it's not on Reddit, if it doesn't come with a cheat code, people don't know how to maneuver in the world. And that's a big problem. And, you know, older men who have certain older philosophies are becoming extinct because we try to suggest that this is how you should move, and people don't respect that.
Totally. Russian bot Mark II says young boys need men to teach them, not some raging feminist straight from university. Absolutely. I could not agree more if I tried.
Exactly. And that's the thing, you know, men, like I said, you know, it trickles up, you know, if Joe Rogan, right? Obviously Spotify saw the value in Joe Rogan. They saw that his message was necessary on a larger scale. But if somebody on a lower level,
actually,
go ahead, what's that?
I don't think they thought his message was necessary. I think they said, this guy's popular. We want popular people on our platform so that we can get more people on our platform so we can make more money. So let's get the guy who's going to bring the most cash. If it was up to them from an ideological standpoint, I don't believe they would actually have him on the platform. They need the money.
I agree with you partially on that. Yeah, I mean, I would say money does definitely outweighs the value of the message for sure. But hopefully, you know, content like yours and content like his continue to stay the test of time. And that way it will penetrate a society that is just out of whack, bro. Everybody has too many choices. There's too many choices. There's a yes, a no, and a maybe. Nah, you can't do that. That causes anarchy. That causes chaos. And as you can see, people are threatening to picket and talk about how they can selectively decide what a person who took time to create puts out. That's unacceptable. That's like saying the person who wants to pick it, that's like saying, listen, you're going to wear this today, you're going to eat that today. If you were to do that, you would be considered a misogynist or somebody who is not fair-minded. So again, there's a big disparity on it, man. So I get it, man. The world is in turmoil, but I always encourage men to try to put your blinders on, to remain cognizant, but to move accordingly, so that way you can try to at least create a life that you feel that you deserve, at least.
100%, totally agree with you, and that's something that I want guys to take away. And we say hopefully the message of people like myself and UAV will carry on, but it's every single time people listen to us, it carries on, because people get something from it. It's embedding this stuff in people's psyche. It's making people think, and then there's other people. So, we don't realize the impact, the specific tangible impact of what we're doing whenever we speak. But whenever we speak some serious knowledge, that has a much wider ripple effect than we can even imagine.
Right. Absolutely, man. And you said it best. I mean, quite frankly, we may not even see the results of all the hard work that you're putting in right now. You might be in the hole, bro. You might die, but your message will live on, kind of like a book, right? So books are fading out, tangible books are fading out, but hopefully your kids, your grandkids, there will be a vault of this knowledge and this wisdom that people can tap into and really help understand what the state of the world is right now and how they can live in it without compromising themselves. And that's the shit. Men are compromising themselves as a result of what's happening around them, as opposed to men remembering that we were the builders of the civilization and we determine and dictate how the civilization is ran. And the only way that we can fix that is if we band together. Again, there's a segment of men that are scared. I understand. There's another segment of men who are just like, let's kill our own dinner. Let's do what we need to do. So there's no unity there. So again, as I mentioned to you, because there's no unity, we're at our weakest point. So again, whatever a man wants to do, it is his right. But I think before we start dotting our I's and crossing our T's, we need to come together and understand that there are certain things that we cannot ignore around us. And the only way that we can fix it is by uniting. Then we can go ahead and go our own way. And cut your own lawn, live how you want to live. But until then, we will not make any changes. And there will continue to be this divide amongst the ideology that you believe, the ideology that this man believes, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So we have to band together, bro, and stop this bullshit.
100%. Because look, here's the thing. Feminists have banded together for so long. All these women's groups have banded together. They've repeated until it's become reality. In fact, I've got a podcast called Unapologetic Aussie, and my first episode is Lies by Omission and Repetition. And it basically says if you repeat something often enough and if you omit key facts that change the context of what you're saying, then that becomes the truth.
Sure.
Even if it's not factually correct. By the way, I've got Elvin, who's been a long-time follower of mine, actually, and has previously donated before. She's a woman. And I know that we've been sort of focused on a few chats in the previous stream from women, but the reason why I like engaging with women in these streams is not because, I want to simp for them or anything like that, but because sometimes there's things that they have to say that need addressing, and guys need to understand where they're coming from to understand why things are working the way they're working. So Elvin said, women's biggest desire is to feel, hear that word, feel. To feel safe and protected. Men desire respect and legacy. It's in both men and women's interests to build up men. I couldn't agree with that statement more. I think that it was so succinctly put, and it really encapsulates what needs to happen to get things back on course. What's your thought?
I agree with that sentiment. She's the supporter said that women feel they need to feel safe and safe. I think men have not stepped up to the plate. As a result of that, women have had to take that role to make themselves feel safe. Let's start there, number one. Number two, she mentioned that men desire respect. Respect shouldn't be desired, it should be earned. Okay. And in order to earn respect as a man, you have to show your worth and show that you can lead. So it's going to take a little bit of time for us to kind of turn things back around. But if men would step up to the plate, you know, kind of tune out some of the content a little bit of all the factual things that are happening and really start leading by example, whether it's with your spouse, your girlfriend, yourself, your partners, etc. I think there will be a change. There'll be a very big change in the way society is ran. And I will say this, you mentioned something earlier that there's a lot of women that don't like each other. Let's start there. I've met women that say, you know, I don't have female friends. I don't trust them. The only time women stick together is when they want to tear shit apart. And right now, women are sticking together like no other because of masculinity. Right. And that's the only reason. You know what I'm saying? But they don't trust each other. They know that they're cunning. They know that they walk on their stomachs for the most part. So again, physically and mentally, we can do better, and they will have no choice but to fall in line just by remembering who we were and what we can do, and being inspired by content like yours and other content creators. Because there's a very select few of content creators, bro, quite frankly, that are worth anything, that are really spitting a message. A lot of people are putting MGTOW on their name so they can get some clout, kind of like a clickbait. As I'm becoming the spirit daily, every day, bro, it's all bullshit. There's a lot of frauds out there, bro. Real talk. People that, you know what I mean? I'm like, nah. And, you know, I said this on another platform that I'm in the process of rebranding because I don't really know what anyone's intentions are for the most part. Like, what are your intentions? Like, do you want to just keep somebody stuck to you and talk about problems, or do you want to find solutions? And I think that your method and the way you spit your content is very educational. And I like the fact that you allow men to think for themselves. Men can't think for themselves, bro. Right now, we're in a digital age. They have substituted the umbilical cord with a USB cord. If it's not on the internet, bro, it's not on Reddit, it's not on Google, they don't know what to do. And I mentioned this another day. If there was a cyber attack, there was no internet, no anything, it would be chaos. Nobody would know how to even walk. So it's very important for men to kind of go back. Sometimes you got to take 2 steps back to take 3 forward, man. We have to go back to the basics first, and then we can move forward.
Right. As Eminem once said, let's get down to business. I ain't got no time to
bro. Yeah, there's no time for this. We don't have time because the clock's ticking.
Exactly. Now, by the way, I wanted to touch on what you said before with response to Elvin's comment about men desiring respect and legacy. I really believe that is. I know you disagreed. I think we've got different angles to the same end. I think that men truly do desire respect, and I agree 100% with you, with no question whatsoever, that respect is earned, not owed. In fact, AV, you don't know this, but my very first video is entitled "Respect is Earned, Not Owed." So if you go back right to if you go into
the very beginning,
"Respect is Earned" at Sydney MGTOW, you'll find my first video, and I'm umming and ahhing, and I'm wearing a hoodie. I'm holding the phone out in front of me, and like, you know, I did not have the lighting, I didn't have the mic, I didn't have the Procast, I didn't have the big screen, I didn't have any of the shit. Like, I didn't have the new I bought a new tripod yesterday. Man, guys don't understand how expensive making good content is. Like, I spent $110 yesterday on this tripod just so this webcam can sit here instead of down here a little bit. So like,
better angle. Yep.
Better angle, right? Spent $110 on that for you guys so that you can see me from a better angle.
Sure.
This light behind me, $300. That monitor, $900. This Rodecaster, $850. This microphone, $250. This, $69. This arm here, that's $170. And then this windshield, $20. You know what I mean? And then I got my high-speed internet connection, and I've got all my other shit. You know, there's my I pay almost $50 a month for StreamYard because it's $25 a month US, right? So, and I I appreciate all the donations, but I don't ask for anything. I don't demand anything. I make this content for you guys because I love you all, because of how important this message is, because my mission is to help you, lift you guys up and help people realize they've been lied to by feminism. And I'm not saying like don't have rights for women, of course, but don't have rights for some people that infringe on the rights of others. That's all.
Perfectly said. And that's why you have some of the greats following you, because your delivery is selfless, right? There are very pure intentions in what you're trying to say. And just by you notating and mentioning how much you spend on equipment shows your dedication to your craft and your belief in yourself, bro. Because again, that's like $2,500 right there just to talk. And again, you were on a 2-hour podcast before. So it's very important for your audience to understand what it takes to do what you do, to touch the topics that you're touching on, and to know that you may not see the fruits of your labor while you're alive. So you're definitely here to stay, man. And again, whatever you need, whatever I can do to help, I will help you, because again, this message needs to be heard, bro. It is what it is.
Yeah, man, I appreciate that.
No doubt.
But by the way, I also spent $320 yesterday on a carry case for the Rodecaster and some mics and some headphones so I can have a portable podcast studio. Plus $50 off the USB accessory so I can run it off 2.4 amp DC power. Plus I bought a 20,000 milliamp. It looks like a mini MacBook Air, but it slots perfectly into the outside pocket of that Gator case that I got for the Rodecaster.
Nice.
So that was another $95 as well, and then plus delivery. And it's like, man, this shit's like, I've been buying stuff progressively for so long now. Like, you guys don't even know. Like, if I was to give you a rough figure, including, by the way, because I bought this laptop specifically so that I could edit videos as well. Specifically, I had a shitty laptop that did the trick. I had a desktop computer. I was happy. I was like, you know what? I want to get this so that I can make stuff on the go, so that I can do stuff for you guys. Webcam, $200. So my whole setup, all up, we're talking solid 7, 8, 9 grand.
That's what I'm saying. You know what I mean? That's, especially in these times, again, for you to decide to invest in yourself. That is another attribute of a man leading by example. Being tired, investing in himself. This is what a lot of people are not doing. And they need to look at that. They does not need to hear the message. They need to see the grind and the grit. And I think it's important for you to let people in a little bit more about what you're doing. Not necessarily what you're spending, but let them know what your day is like, because the shit is not easy. I told you behind the scenes, man. I'm not even making content. I'm fucking tired, bro. I'm burnt out. You know what I mean? So I respect you guys, man. And, you know, I think that I encourage all men, you know, listening to this content secretly or openly, to try to work on yourself in conjunction with listening to these messages, man, because, you know, unfortunately, your desire to evolve comes from within. But if there was a change in the audience and the way things were going, it would allow you to elevate your game and talk about other things that you're wise on. Because again, I know there's a lot of layers to you, and we want to hear that. We want to hear that too. So I encourage everyone who's listening to look in the mirror, work on yourself, take this year as a learning lesson, and really start focusing now and preparing for tomorrow.
Yeah, 100%. And by the way, I got a song here. You guys know I love my songs and love my lyrics. If you're a fan or not, it doesn't matter. But the lyrics of this song ring true, and it's almost like a partial motto for my life. Like, I don't really want to be famous, right? But I've sort of ended up in the limelight here anyway, in the manosphere, and you know, I really appreciate the love and support from all you guys that you've given. But here we go. Some people have to learn. Some people wait their turn. Some people have to fight. Some people give their lives. They want to hold you back. Tell them pee off. Whenever they say you can't, take the T off. I remember when they told me I wouldn't be famous. Now my dream and reality is simultaneous. And work your own way to the top. If they put you on a pedestal, they can take you off. And there's a higher level than the top. You got to make more. Don't make do with what you got. Yeah. So go get it in. Go, Sonny. Not everybody gets a second chance at getting money or even getting lucky. So you got to feel the hunger in your tummy. And that there, take the opportunities that you have to make greatness for yourself.
Absolutely, man. You know, a lot of people, men in particular, young men and older men, everybody wants the cheat code. Everybody wants the microwavable meal. They just want the right now. Guys, it takes time, man. It takes time. And stop trying to compare yourself to other people. Stop trying to compare yourself to Sydney, the guys that you listen to, because everyone is walking in their own shoes. What we want you to encourage to do is just look at the people that you listen to and admire and take some of their attributes and make it your own. That's going to cause a better society within your own house, within your own communities, and things will start to change. But you can't expect to be like somebody else, because that will put you in a flock of sheeps. You know what I mean? So be authentic just by being yourself.
Straight up, be real. Exactly. Look, I couldn't agree with you more on that point. It's just so unbelievable. I mean, if you're like everyone else, then you just blend in with the crowd, and you're if you're like everyone else, you're like nobody. You are a nobody.
Right. Exactly. And you know, especially nowadays, you know, with the holidays coming up, you know, this is the most depressing time of the year. You know, we don't know. There's a lot of uncertainty happening in the world right now, but you can't really concern yourself with that. You know, when you put your head on the pillow, you lock your door at night, you shut off your lights, you have to kind of live in that world. Again, don't be naive, be cognizant of what's going on, but try not to let that affect you. Try to become better than you were yesterday. Try to become better than you were an hour ago. Listen. Yeah, just a little bit, bro. Incrementally. That shit adds up. That shit adds up. And you stop living on other people's timelines. Stop comparing yourself to people who don't have bills. Ladies, stop comparing yourself to women who have $10,000 worth of surgery. Stop that shit. You know what I'm saying? That has nothing to do with you. If a woman mistreated a man, that has nothing to do with me. If, you know, the facts are the facts, but if the facts are over there, I'm going over here. You know what I mean? Live in your own bubble. Work on yourself so that way you are prepared. Because again, like I mentioned to you, life does not get easier. We get stronger. And the only way to get stronger is to take your licks, man. To take your licks.
Yeah. Mike says, damn, Sydney, 9Gs. Yeah, 9Gs, but it's worth it to
small
bring
investment
with quality audio, with good lighting, you know, to be able to do streams like this with AV, you know, to have the right be able to record podcasts and put that up so people can listen to it and listen to that knowledge.
This is a man. This is a man who believes in himself. You know what I mean? And this is a man that, you know, this is what you want to aspire to be. Believe in yourself, man. Nobody's gonna believe in you. You know what I mean? It's like, it's crazy because there's something that I say amongst my team. I said, "Who's celebrating you? Who's celebrating you?" The people that are celebrating you are typically not your friends and your family. They're people that you don't even know, and that says a lot. So if you're looking for friends, you're looking for family, you're looking for accolades, you're looking for pats on the back, stop that shit right now. Believe in yourself, decide what you want to do and be it. If you fail at it, the sooner you fail, the sooner you can get back up and get closer to another win. But if you get knocked down and you stay down, you have nobody to blame but yourself. And Sydney can't save you. He's going to invest another 9 G's. You're going to continue to watch him elevate while you're still on the same floor. He cannot listen. You can't be helped unless you want to be helped. And a lot of people want to be heard rather than helped. You have to change that mindset. You have to, because we only have one shot at this, man. One shot at life, and you have to seize that moment for sure.
Yeah, exactly. Lose Yourself by Eminem. Great song. If you really want to know what seizing the moment is all about, and how when the opportunity comes you can't let it go, that song is what you want to listen to and repeat until it sinks in.
Yep.
And like this song I was telling you about before, this is the next bit, because you touched on something, and I want to actually go on a tangent with this, because I think that you and I are going to have a really good conversation about this next topic that I just thought of, that is going to resonate with so many people. It's unbelievable.
Let's do it.
This is going to be the realest shit I ever wrote. Off the record, no cameras, forget a quote. Some of my family doing good, most doing dope. I'm from Virginia where they hang a nigga by a rope. I used to see my mama getting beat down. Is that the real definition of me now? I fell off, back on my feet now, headed to the sky, can't even see down. Award shows, I poured my heart out. People still steady trying to point my flaws out. And I'd be lying if I said it didn't get to me, but I'm a champion, legend, history. And I'm like, that's like the anthem of my life. You know what I mean? Maybe not. Like, I had a good childhood. I was very fortunate in that respect. So not that particular element there. But for people who have been down and out as a kid, you can get up. You can go. Even Tiny Temper in his song Written by the Stars, he says, have you ever been so hungry it keeps you awake? Man, my hunger would leave you amazed. And yet the guy's killing it. And he says, trying to turn a tenner to 100 grand. And he turned $10 into 100 grand. And then he kept going. This is his anthem, you know, and he didn't even sing it. Like, and I've seen this story replicated so many times by people that have got heart, like you, like Red Sings the Blues, like myself. You know what I mean? We're on our own path. It's a road less traveled. It's not easy. We can't just, like, you can't, when it's a road less traveled, there's less people that you can replicate their success. So you've got to find a way, and you'll fuck up, and it's harder, and you've got to trudge through the mud, and you've got to pick yourself up, and you've got to, you know, bandage your cuts and wounds back up. You got to tourniquet when you get the fucking snake bite, when people stab you in the back and they shock you, you know, but you just got to keep going, and you got to learn as you go, and you'll come out stronger for it on the other end. I promise you, with all of my heart.
Absolutely. Yo, listen, as cliche as it sounds, that is something that will never, ever die. That what you just said, and that you said it in a way from a man who's been through some shit. Listen, man. Listen, I've been through some shit.
You can.
Yo, I've been through some shit. I'm still going through shit. But at the end of the day, this is the main reason, Sydney, I wanted to participate in this goddamn sphere. Not to call people out, say you're a fraud. That's not my intention. I don't really give a shit. I said this already. My intention was to allow people to know that there is a beacon. There are some people, yo, listen, on two hands, I can count on this large ass sphere, people on two hands, people that are genuine and people that can really help you. You guys are a beacon. All right. You guys are a beacon for people who are lost, who feel like they just, again, their kids don't want to mess with them. They've lost their way. They're out of shape. They just given up on life, and they're just living. Pardon me, they're just surviving rather. And you may not necessarily have the same grit that I do or Sydney does, but in your own right, you can become a champion. You can become a winner. You can become a king. You just have to want it. And know that it's not going to be easy, but you are not alone, because guys like Sydney, certain guys that I listen to will really give you that message, but they cannot do it for you. Sydney can't do it for you, bro. He can't do it for you, but he will guide you, and he'll keep putting content. He'll keep investing in himself to give you better messages so you can help and do it your way.
And hopefully some of that helps. And John B, I appreciate that. Says Sydney has a great way with words.
Absolutely.
And you know, I've been, for those of you who've been watching me for a while, you'll know in the beginning, I used to rant, and I used to go off. Maybe that's why I got demonetized at 10,000. I was going too hard too soon. But you know, I really feel, look, over time, as you get more of an understanding about what's going on in the world, and not just with women, but with friends, with family, with work, with integrity, with respect, with all of the elements that come together to form a good life, you know, where you can be happy and just genuinely feel happiness in your heart. If you can get all of those elements right, you're on the right path. I mean, even like Stacey J, and I'm sharing this because Stacey is a regular PayPal donator. So for that reason, you know, she gets a mention. And she's also a fellow motorcycle rider. It says, nice. Listen up, Sydney and Alpha driving the hard truth bombs.
We appreciate that, man. Yo, because you said it, Sydney, man. You know, and it is something that everyone should want to aspire to be. Like you said, even me, bro. When I first came into this space, you know, I was going hard, not necessarily from a red pill rage perspective, but just still holding on to some old baggage, perhaps, kind of like being mad, like, damn, I was lied. My mother lied to me. Damn, she did this. I should have seen it. But now I'm at a point, you know, peace over peace leave, right? To the point where now I feel that I want to give more than receive, or I want to give more than speak. So I want to help people understand that we were all lied to. We were all lied to in some way, shape, or form, but nobody was going to do it for me. And now that I have an opportunity to be on platforms like yours and other people's platforms, I want to pay it forward, bro, because at the end of the day, we're not alone, but it's okay to fail. But we just don't want to we don't want you to live there. We want to make sure that you can do this, man, and we will help you. We'll guide you, and Sydney will continue to talk to you, but you got to make sure you dig deep, man. Dig deep as hard as you can and give it your shot, because you deserve it.
And when you level yourself up to a certain point, you will become the space she needed.
Big facts, bro. Big facts. And that's the thing. Yo, you said it best, because you don't even have to approach them, because the thing is, they start to see your energy. They're like, yo, what's wrong with this guy? This guy isn't complaining. This guy isn't talking about the news, about the dreary things that are going on. You're just in a peaceful state.
He's healthy.
And they want your energy. They want to be, right. It's kind of like when you go to a bar or club and you see some people just laughing, having a good time. You're like, yo, what's in their drink? What are they drinking? You want to just be a part of that. That's what we encourage men to be. Be at peace, man. Kind of tune some shit out, detox, and kind of say, okay, this is how I'm going to live my life. As long as I'm not hurting anybody and I'm becoming better, that's the goal.
Yeah, and back to what you said it before, AV, about how some people, like, how, even you yourself in the beginning, you're sort of like, holding on to some stuff.
Right.
By the way, Shinobi One says, MGTOW saved my life. I'm healthier and happier than I was before. Changed my life for the better. MGTOW saves lives. Dude, this is what we're doing out here. This is why I'm working nights, so I can buy this gear so that I can make shit for you, Bro. This is why I'm doing it.
Shit is crazy. It's crazy.
So look, that's one thing. But the other thing I wanted to say is, with respect to what you were saying about that underlying frustration that was there, guys, when you start to understand things,
right,
it brings this unbelievable sense of calm, because you go, like, it's even like if your car blows up, right, and your engine's completely screwed, and you've got piston rods out the bonnet and everything, and everything's fucked, like you've done 30-40 grand, but then you find out why, you go, that all makes sense now. And it's like, no matter what the carnage, the understanding of what caused the carnage brings such an incredible sense of peace and calm. And if you're able to harness that peace and calm and funnel that into your life, it will improve your relationships with your friends. It will improve your relationships with your family. It will level up the amount of respect that people have for you in the workplace, outside of the work. You will smile when you're walking the street, and people will smile back, and they'll go, why is he smiling? And you're like, you know what? Because I finally get it, and I'm at peace.
Yes, you killing it, bro. You're absolutely right. Again, guys, just like Sydney said, with women, your professional career, the neighbors, people will sense that, because frankly, everybody wants peace, man. Everybody needs peace. Minimize the anxiety. You have to understand, you have to give yourself time, guys, to think about what transpired, what responsibility you had to contribute to that failure, to the car blowing up. Did you change the goddamn oil on time? Why did the girl cheat on me? Did you ignore her? Did you not vet properly? We have to start taking more ownership as men on ourselves to minimize the outcomes that we're receiving right now. A lot of people, there's a lot of shit that's happening right now because they're too busy blaming other people for the outcome. They're not necessarily blaming themselves. So I say that to say this, to piggyback on Sydney. When you become at peace, you have the opportunity to discern and think about the shit that really matters, not why she did it. Think about what I did to contribute that, and then use it as a lesson to vet better. Or why did I get fired? Because maybe you got in a desperate state. So like you said, Sydney, man, peace is important.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't know if you were there at the end of my previous stream with RSB, but we were talking about Briffault's law, right? And Briffault's law, if you search that up, just search Briffault. So it's like Briffault's law, Psychology Today, and it will come straight up as the first thing. Briffault's law maintains that the female, not the male, determines all the conditions of the animal family. where the female can derive no benefit from association with the male, no such association takes place. Now, I just want to unpack that for a second, because this is fundamentally at the root of everything. And men respect other men that have this down, because they see them as someone that has control over their lives. Because if you can have control over, and I'm not saying tyranny or dominating someone,
brute force, right,
in a brute force or really super controlling and manipulative kind of way, but if you control the dynamic between you and women without using force, just by using your presence and your words and your understanding of what she needs from you, people look at you and go, man, I need to learn from this guy. And it's not even a conscious decision that they want to learn from you, but they open their mind to you. And so where the female can derive no benefit from the association, no association takes place. And some people say, well, the male determines the conditions of the animal family if they're alpha enough, if they're in the top 10, 20%. It's like, no, that's bullshit. Let me tell you why. Because if you are in that 10 to 20%, if you are in that top tier of men that are desired by more women than not, because you hold and you outwardly display the attributes that most women are, from an evolutionary perspective, attracted to, they will come to you. And by virtue of them coming to you, they are determining the conditions of the animal family by saying, hey, I want you to be the provider of my offspring. I want you to be the genetics that forms half my children. And this is a deep-rooted primal desire of theirs. So don't think that just because women approach you, if you are a high-value man, that this theory doesn't apply. It applies. If you're sitting there complaining, and look, some people have got a shit deal in life. They might look like they've been hit by a truck, and it's going to be very difficult for them to get very attractive women. Doesn't mean that they won't be women who will be good to them. It just means that they're probably not going to be able to get attractive women, because there's going to be attractive women that are going to be able to find someone way hotter than you that has the same attributes that you have, first of all. Second of all, with respect to that same kind of framework, if you want to be the guy that women come to, then be the guy. Don't sit around fucking whinging about it.
Facts. Listen, again, you on fire, bro. Listen,
and
first of all,
don't do it, right? So I'll finish this off. And
no, you go good, man.
And don't do it for the peace leave. Don't do it for that, because if you do it for that, you will lose every single time. Because women have an innate understanding. They know when you're doing it, because it comes out in your subconscious. Whatever you think, you manifest, right? Because whatever's in here comes out in your words before you even realize it. Comes out in your tone. It comes out in your body language, because that's your intention. That's what you're working towards. It's like when you're riding a motorcycle, right? You don't look at the road in front of you. You look around the corner. You don't look at the car on the other side of the road. You don't focus on shit that's not your path. You focus on the other end of the corner, and it will take you through. There's a reason why I don't have chicken strips on my bike, because I know how hard I can take those corners. I know where my path is, and I stick to it. I'm so committed to it that it doesn't mean if I'm leaned down like this, I am taking that path, because that's where I'm looking. That's where I'm going. People see me on the path and they're like, man, I respect that so much. Like I've had girls, when I'm on fire like this, they'll message me after my stream and they'll be like, man, I saw your stream. That was so hot. I'm like, I appreciate that. But I know it is, like, and I'm not doing it for that reason, but this is the effect that it has.
Right. You're absolutely right. Listen, you said a lot, man, but let me just, no, you did, but I will say this, and I'll sum it up like this, bro. When you do something for the wrong reason, you're taking your power away. You said when you do something, man, don't do it for the peace leave. And women can sense that. So when a woman knows you're doing something for her peace leave, you're giving her the power. It's not about the woman. It's about you. And like Sydney said, when Sydney's on fire, he's talking his shit. He's just spitting. Quietly, somebody's going to DM, a couple of chicks in DM like, yo, that was hot. Why? The reason why is because they know that Sydney's on his purpose. He doesn't give a damn about who thinks it. And that is a true attractive quality of a man who knows where he's going and will not get sidetracked for anything, especially something trivial as peace leave. Attention men. It doesn't matter if you're in the top 10, you're chiseled, all that shit, because a hot guy can get abroad, but can he keep abroad? It's the same thing. Listen, these hot chicks, they're lame as fuck. These hot chads, they're lame as hell too. Let's not get it twisted. So my point is this, gentlemen. Make sure that you continue to focus on yourself. If, let's say you look like the guy that got hit by a truck, focus on things that you can control. If you're deficient in height, weight, looks, focus on your mouthpiece. Focus on your finances. Focus on your charisma and charm. Start there. The guys who are hot, the girls that are hot, they're the lamest because they don't have to do anything because they have so much influx of people coming to them. But some of the hottest chicks that I've been with were the worst in bed, bro. And I've heard from chicks too, these hot dudes, they're just lame. So I say that to say this: behind every hot chick is a guy who gets tired of her. Behind every woman who wanted her Chad to have good genetics, real talk, Sydney, behind every woman that had the kid was, she got with the guy because of good genetics, is a single mother. Let's not get it twisted. So to piggyback and in closing, to finally say, Sydney is encouraging you guys to don't do it for the peace leave, do it for yourself. And when you do it for yourself, you always wind up winning because it was your decision in the beginning. And that's how you set your standards, and that's how you set your boundaries, and that's how you determine and dictate the life that you want to live. And whoever wants to live in it can live with it as long as they're following your rules.
Exactly right. Exactly. That's all I got to say about that.
Yeah.
Facts.
Boom. Let's go. Big facts.
Big facts. Exactly. Now I want to talk about something. So I just want to touch on a comment that we got. Daniel says, my ex cheated with a less attractive guy. What do you do? And that exactly is back to your point that what attracts a woman is not what keeps her. Look, the guy might have been less attractive, but if he was more confident, if he probably didn't care, and you cared, to you out. Like, look, as guys, we care. We do care if we've got someone we love and we care about.
Sure.
But if you're too often outwardly be like, oh my God, babe, I love you so much, I don't know what to do without you. It's like they're out. Like, they're out the door, man. They're on someone else's dick within 24 hours.
You're absolutely right. We talk about stoicism.
I don't blame them for that either, because you did that.
Facts. Very good. You said it best, man. We talk about stoicism. We talk about masculinity. We bleed, we cry, we break down. There's a time and place for that shit. Sometimes people have to earn your emotions. Listen, alphas get cheated on, men get cheated on. It hits us harder for some reason. But at the end of the day, if she cheated on you, you first have to ask, was she wifey material? Was there anything that you could have done better? Listen, you could be the perfect Romeo, bro, in a relationship, and she's still going to leave your ass. I know women that have done everything. They put it everywhere. They swallow everything. They do whatever a guy wants, and they still get cheated on. So my point is this. You cannot put too much focus on someone else besides yourself, because you only have control over yourself. You could be the perfect husband, the perfect wife, and still shit doesn't work out. It's kind of like the guy who eats well, who has 1%, 8% body fat and dies on the treadmill. Shit happens. You just have to know that nothing is forever, but your determination to become better should be something that you should focus on every day, no matter what the situation happens. That's it.
Yeah, 100%. By the way, I'm just dropping a link into the chat now to a Psychology Today, and it's by a guy. He calls himself Jeremy Nicholson, the attraction doctor. I mean, the guy's, you can tell his face is a bit more chubby, but the guy's, he's got some points, right? And I'm going to just share this with everyone now, because this is something that not a lot of people talk about. And AV, I know you're going to have words to say about this, and you're probably going to be spot on.
Let's go.
So, why are women frustrated with dating? Dating and relationships have always been hard in this day and age. However, they can sometimes seem impossible. Particularly women I speak to say they can't find a good man. They lament over the guys that they say are stuck in childhood, not taking responsibility for their own lives. All of the things we were saying before, right? The masculine attributes are lacking. They complain about the men they call nice guy pushover types who don't stir passionate feelings. feelings. Feel. That's where the female centric is. Feelings. They also have difficulty with men they label attractive, quote unquote, jerks who disrespect them, ignore their needs, and break hearts. What is going on here? Have all of the good men blown away? Personally, I would like to offer an alternative hypothesis, one where women have been put in a very unfulfilling double bind. I would like to posit that cultural and biological factors have been pitted against each other, leaving women in a no-win situation much of the time in modern life. This is some serious fact, and I'm about to get to the key of this. More than one kind of love. In her book, Why We Love, author Helen Fisher describes 3 types of love. Lust, the feeling of sexual desire. Action, feeling appeal, allure, and motivation to pursue and choose a partner. And attachment, feelings of bonding around sharing a home, parental duties, mutual defense, safety, and security. So this is why some women will be married for 20 years happily. So they'll have the attachment with the husband. They'll feel the sexual desire towards the old flame on Facebook, and they'll feel the attraction towards one of their work colleagues who could then instill that in her. And then you've got these two together, and this guy is at home looking after the kids while she's out getting this, because this guy doesn't have all 3.
Right.
And a woman needs all 3 to be happy.
That's what the article is saying.
Yes.
Okay, let's go.
So, yeah, let's touch
on that.
I'll share this last little bit. Each of these types of love can have very different origins and be independently expressed for different people. For example, one woman might find that she lusts after her partner, is attracted to him, and securely attached. Perhaps that is the ideal. Another woman might lust after one man, be attracted to a second, and feel comfortable and attached to her partner only. The differences in who we lust after, are attracted to, and feel an attachment towards arise because each feeling has an independent origin. Lust and attraction are often more deep-seated, primal, and uncontrolled feelings. Usually it is impossible to choose to be turned on or attracted to a partner. These feelings are more likely elicited automatically from certain cues in a partner, aka masculine traits. For women, those attractive male cues may include physical attractiveness, social status, economic resources, ambition. What have we been talking about? Ambition, industriousness, stability, and intelligence. Let's pick this apart, AV.
Okay, let's go. Okay, first things first. First red flag is this is a book written by a woman. Okay, so let's start there. A lot of times the narrative in the media are always explaining what the woman is feeling and how they should be feeling. Nobody's concerned about the man. Let's be clear, gentlemen. All those things that lady, that psychologist wrote about women, men feel that shit too. Let's be clear. You know, sometimes a lot of guys will get with the girl, the good girl, because she doesn't drink, she doesn't go to the clubs, she dresses conservatively. That will be considered wifey material. Then they have a side chick who does all types of crazy shit, that drinks, parties, lets you put it anywhere. I know a lot of dudes that are better. Right. I know a lot of men that are better husbands because they get their rocks off. They do all this shit with their stripper girlfriends, but they don't bring it home. So what she wrote is accurate, but men are too concerned about the woman's psychoses or feelings versus theirs. Because if she's lusting about somebody from the coworker or something, that means that you're not fulfilling a need for her. Now, if you can honestly say that you've tried to, that's one thing. But if you're just too concerned about, oh my gosh, she's probably messing around with her work boyfriend, that's a conversation you need to have with her. If she's not fulfilling a need, okay, let me simplify it. Stop worrying about what you're not fulfilling for her and start focusing on what she's not fulfilling for you. Okay, that's number one. It does take two. It takes tit for tat. So that's a conversation you need to have. But women are survivalists, right? Women are survivalists, right? So if you are financially stable, you have the good credit, you have the big crib, she's going to gravitate to you and understand, as long as you know your position. But it's all about, like you said earlier, Cindy, understanding yourself first and foremost, and understanding a woman. Because if you know you're not an attractive man, but you have a lot of money, you have to anticipate that somebody's gonna want to be with you for that money. If you're okay with that, then cool. You're not gonna be surprised. But at the end of the day, these books are being spoken about from a woman's perspective. And those 2 out of 3 characteristics were emotional. Attractiveness fades. Lust fades. For long-term relationships, bro, listen, talking to a guy who had 10s, it's not feasible. And as you get older and your priorities change, you realize that it's too much maintenance to handle and keep the attractiveness, keep her entertained. I don't have time for that shit. True successful relationships are loyalty and sacrifice. And if a woman is not comfortable with some type of monotony, you're in trouble. So I encourage men to, again, identify what they want and vet properly. Do not get with the woman solely if she's a smoker and you know she's a hot rod, she's a firecracker, and you got money and you know that she's with you just for your money. Don't get mad at her if she's attracted to other guys. You have to know what you're doing. You have to understand what you're doing. So I say that to say this last because it's kind of long-winded. Everything that they're describing are emotions. Everything they're describing are emotions, and emotions fade. So everyone, like I said on another podcast, men, this is why they call men dogs. Men, we're loyal to a fault. Women are loyal to their emotions. Always remember that. And their emotions change constantly.
And if you don't know how to stir their emotions, then you are not going to be able to probably sustain a long-term relationship with a woman. And this is why I said in my video the other day, if you don't understand women, you're not ready for one.
Facts, Sydney. Yo, you said it. You killing it. Yo, you just said it. Stir their emotions. Bro, you got to stir their emotions. You got to bring in some drama into the relationship, because it's kind of like if you talk to a kid, you cannot have a conversation with the same conversation you have with an adult. You have to kind of go down to that level. Women are, for the most part, are immature. So you have to stir up those emotions. You have to play on her heartstrings. You have to kind of let her know, listen, you on probation, young lady. You need to make sure that if I see you acting out of pocket, I'm gonna have to pull some strings to make sure to reel you back in. And remind her, why does she want to commit to me in the first place? Go back to that and say, okay, she wanted with me because of this. Dangle that shit in front of her. She's not acting right, she can be replaced. It's that simple.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and look, that's true. And here's one thing. This is probably the most important tool in any man's relationship arsenal. If you're going to date women, this is the not negotiable. There's nothing else. You have to be ready to walk out that fucking door at a moment's notice.
Listen, bro, facts. Yo, listen, yo, it sounds, yo, you know, we're laughing, we're chuckling because, first of all, let me keep it real. That shit is hard. It's hard to do when you're inexperienced, but when you realize and understand that life goes on, and when you see a woman move on faster than you, and you're like, how the hell did she rebound so quickly? It's because they have that abundance mindset. They know that you're replaceable. So if you consider me replaceable, I have to make sure that I consider you replaceable. If you find me to be, irreplaceable, then I will look at that and say, okay, maybe I'll put you in a higher standard. But you always have to be in control, bro. Always. You got to be able to walk out and be like, listen, or kick her ass out because she got with you because of your resources. You know what I'm saying? So if she's it, now you're getting me hype. If she got with you on your resources, then you need to let her know, listen, if you don't appreciate me or my resources, then I'm going to get somebody who will. And that's that. I'm getting hyped, Sydney. Now you're getting me hot. Let's go.
Russian Budget said, if you can't get butterflies in her stomach, she'll bounce straight out. That is big facts right there.
Bro.
Big facts.
And you know what? Yo, Daniel, you big facts. But you know what about my butterflies? The bro's got to make your toes curl too, my G. You gotta make sure that she's giving you butterflies. And if you get bored with her, you gotta let her know. Listen, we need to role play. We need to do something a little bit more exciting because we're always so focused on how she's feeling. How are we feeling?
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying, like, how are we feeling? Like sometimes you'll have sex, and she'll try to shame you because maybe you can't get it up so quickly. Make me a sandwich. Do something. Work with me. You know what I'm saying? It's not a reflection on you. We have to put these women to work, bro. They have to work because the thing is, You came to us. We didn't chase you. And if we did chase you, you gave in to us. So you have to remember, we're the hunters. So at this point,
or you're leveraging what it is that we're offering.
Facts. You have to reappraise yourself constantly. Every time you look in the mirror, be like, yo, reassess your life. Say, yo, she's with me because of this, and this. If she's not acting right, I could take this shit away from her. And that's that. Don't worry about her butterflies. Worry about your butterflies, bro. Shit.
Here's the other thing as well. We live in a world now where everything is got so much feminist legislation and family courts and whatnot that your tangible assets, unless they are physically out of reach, you know, like things like this.
That's silver. Let's go. Mm-hmm.
So unless you've got things that are physically and tangibly out of reach of the courts, the wealth can be redistributed from you to her.
Absolutely.
So if you get her living in your property, like, bro, I don't know if you're aware of this, but there's a organization in Scotland called Women's Aid. Damn, man, this Women's Aid is crazy. Let me share this with you just so you know what I'm talking about here, because this is seriously dangerous stuff for men.
You know what's crazy, Sidney, while you're bringing that up, with the plethora of knowledge, right? The plethora of information that's out there, number one, the plethora of knowledge that you're spitting, why do guys continue to do that shit? Protect your assets, no cohabitation until you're ready, or just have a fail-safe, man. Protect yourself. There's nothing wrong with protecting yourself, because at the end of the day, a woman's always going to protect herself. She's going to have her family members in her ear telling her, hey, you better have a secret account, this, and this. She's going to lay the great sex on you. She's going to spit shit in your ear to kind of just disarm you, but always protect yourself. Always, because you came into this shit alone, you're going to die alone. So why not protect the shit that you worked hard for? She didn't earn it. She earned your company, not your resources. Don't get it twisted.
Yeah, so get property in countries that don't have reciprocal arrangements with the country you live in, so that it can't be taken off you from overseas. Even like, I know one guy, he's got a property in Tokyo and a property in Israel, and he's in Australia. And when him and his ex-wife divorced, she wanted the properties, and the court's like, got to hand it over, and he's like, no, and they're like, oh, I guess there's nothing we can do. She was mad as hell, but he protected his assets. Smart boy.
Exactly.
Because I'm going to show you this screen now, and this is where this is why it is so critical for you to protect your assets, for you to never live with a woman in a home that you own. Do not live, and don't tell her that you have properties, right? Unless you've already beans. If you've beans, you can't do much about it. But this is the thing, right? If we go to Women's Aid here, and we go to, where are we here? Information and support, domestic abuse and my rights. Now, like, your home is your castle, right? Your home is your refuge. So let's talk about how your home is at risk. Housing. Women's Aid Scotland, Scottish Women's Aid. You have the right to live in safety and to feel secure in your own home, right? Feel. Emotion. You have a right. Right. You have the right to stay in your own home. Now, when it says home, that means your place of residence. That doesn't mean the house that you own. It says home, not house, right? You have the rights to stay in your home and have an abusive partner removed. Obviously, that's going to be the man, because this is Women's Aid. Your rights to do so will depend on whether you and your partner have occupancy rights. Let me skip down to this because this is really critically important. If you are the sole owner or tenant, your partner has no legal right to stay there. You don't need a court order to make him leave. You can change the locks when he's out. If you are not the sole or joint owner or tenant, you do not have automatic occupancy rights, but you do have the right to go to court to get occupancy rights granted to you for 6 months at a time. So you could get it granted for 6 months, then another 6 months, then another, then another, then another, then another, and so forth and so forth, right? There's no cap on this. Once you have occupancy rights, you can stay in the house and apply for an exclusion order to keep him from the home. You can use the law to have an abusive partner removed from the home and stay away from you. If you have occupancy rights, you can apply to the court for an exclusion order and interdict to remove his right to stay in the house and make him stay away. Transfer of tenancy. If your partner leaves and your rented house is in his name or joint names, you can get it put into your name only. Transfer of tenancy means that your landlord ends your partner's tenancy. Now here's the thing. There's one particular part of it. Here we go. Staying in your home, right? So not your house that you own, but your home, your roof over your head.
Right.
If you are married or in a civil partnership, you have an automatic right to stay in your home, occupancy rights, whether the house is in your name, your partner's name, or joint names. This means your partner does not have the right to put you out or to refuse you entry to your home. It also means that he can't sell it. So if she kicks you out of your house, you cannot sell your own house. You cannot sell your own house. You have to get her permission in writing to be able to sell it. You think she's going to give permission if she's happy staying in your big house? Fuck no.
Right? Yeah. Okay.
So you can't
listen, man. It. You know,
yeah.
These are facts, bro. These are facts. This shit is in writing. These are secrets that men don't know. This is why your platform is so valuable. My only concern with men listening to shit like this that's factual, it is scaring them. Now, I don't understand why you would be scared if Sydney's telling you information out there that's out there in fucking writing. Just don't live with the broad or move out of Scotland, bro. Because if you're in Scotland and you get raped and you didn't know, ignorance is bliss. I get that. But there's a lot of men that are scared to date abroad in Scotland because of this shit that you're saying, which is valuable information. But again, unless you tell them, Sydney, how to date a woman in Scotland, they're not going to move. They're just going to let this information fester and allow them to just not deal with women. And that's not the message that Sydney wants to convey from my perspective. Sydney's giving you the information for you to think for yourself. Sydney is doing his thing. It is his duty and his passion to teach you guys on some of the pitfalls that you can avoid, but he cannot teach you how to move in the street, bro. You guys have to figure that out on your own. Whether you grew up with a masculine, guy in your life, here nor there. You can't worry about what happened yesterday. You have to focus on what you need to do now. And if you want to live a life with a woman, you want to protect your resources, figure out the goddamn way you're going to do it with Sydney's information. That's it. Yo, listen, MGTOW gets a bad rap. Not because of Sydney, not because of CGA, not because of Young Men's Daily Red Pill, not because of you guys. You guys are the truth. MGTOW's getting bad raps because of the frauds and the fact that men are not picking their balls up and doing what they need to do. That's the fucking problem. Excuse my language. That's the problem. And for me, which have alliances with MGTOW, which also have alliances with Red Pill, and have alliances with guys who don't see none of that shit, don't talk about Red Pill. They're like, yo, AV, when you with us, don't talk about that shit. I'm like, yeah, no doubt, I know. But what I'm saying is this, we're all supposed to be men. Most of the audience members, no disrespect to anybody, are males because they're not willing to, they're too afraid to do what they want to do because of what is in writing. Somebody, a human being wrote this. So another human being can rewrite this. And it starts with you. If you're not going to be a man and want to do what you want to do, that's on you, bro. We can't help you. We can't help you. And I get a little passionate about it because this is the reason why I wanted to come in this sphere, because I'm trying to remind men, yo, think for yourself, bro. Yeah, somebody wrote that shit, but if you don't like the way it's happening in Scotland, move out of Scotland, bro. Do what you got to do.
But even like, for example, here we've got Magistrates Court of Victoria, family violence application for family violence intervention order. Now, it's got the typical sort of language that you'd expect, which alludes to it being men being the perpetrators. But let's flick down to the bottom here, right? This is where it gets really interesting. I'm going to zoom in a bit. Okay, so this is basically like a shopping list for women who are requesting a family violence order. Now, I would like, I want the the court to order that the respondent, being the person on the receiving end of the charge, must arrange to return property belonging to the protected person within 2 days of the service of the order. Fair enough. If you got someone else's property, give it back. Here we go. The respondent must arrange to return jointly owned property within 2 days of the service of the order. So if you purchased 2 family cars, one for you, one for her, and you put both of them in both names, you have to give both cars back to her.
That's the thing. This is what I'm talking about. These are facts, bro. Dangerous times for men. But what do they always say, bro? Knowledge is power.
Right. Do
your own due diligence. Trust but verify. Cindy's giving you this on a plate. Do you want him to eat it for you too? That's what I'm saying. It's like, bro, you giving us facts on a plate, bro. I guess they want you to put it in their mouth and feed it to them. Listen, you guys have to digest this. This is on a platform where you can rewind this shit. You can do your own research. Yo, let me see what Sydney was talking about and look into it. Now, most people marry, they live together with people out of convenience. If you know that these laws are in place, level up, bro. Get your money or downsize. Get a crib that you can afford. That way, you don't have to deal with this. This is the beauty of the world, right? The world is a fucked up place, but the beauty of the world is, and what we are trying to encourage you men to do is make it your own. Make the world your own by living within your means, going after what you want, trying to not adhere to these laws that are not meant for you. You guys want to keep trying. You want to change the game. Don't change the game, bro. Just play another game or don't even play at all. It's as simple as that.
Absolutely. Kubasniak says, because we men are absolutely terrible at creating support groups for ourselves. We are taught constantly to compete with each other at all costs. Look, I think that the Manosphere is probably the best support group that you could ever imagine for men at this point, bro, because it's global and it's not localized. So it's decentralized, and people, they silence us on YouTube, we go to BitChute. Silence us on BitChute, we go to YouNow, we go to DLive, we go to Library. There's so many different platforms, and you cannot silence all of us. There's too many of us. There's too much.
Exactly. And let me say something to the comment that the man made. Listen, as men, there is nothing wrong with competing. Okay, that is an attribute of a man that they have watered down. There's nothing wrong with competition, bro. Competition should make you sharper, kind of like iron sharpening iron. Do not be afraid of competition. Do not be afraid to compete. Do not be afraid to enter an arena. If you see a chick at the bar, and there's a Chad, a guy that's 6 foot and you 5'8", so fucking what? Yeah. Go after what you want. Maybe she doesn't like the guy's physical. Maybe his breast things. Maybe yours doesn't. Maybe he's not dressed properly. You are. It doesn't matter. Like Sydney said, the manosphere is a bit unorganized right now, but hopefully with streams like this, we're going to come together and organize this shit and know that we're here for you, but we cannot do it for you. It's kind of like if you're spiritual or godly or believe in religion, God only helps people who help themselves. People pray to God, oh, I want this blessing, I want this. But yo, if you're not putting in the work, God's not going to bless you. Because why? Because God knows you're not ready for the blessing. People want to do shit they're not ready for. There's levels to this shit called life, guys. There's levels.
Yep, there's a higher level. Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, 100%. And by the way, I'll touch on these two, and then I also want to tell something to everybody listening. So I believe it may jeopardize my safety and or the safety of my child or children, for my children to live with the respondent, to spend time with the respondent, or to communicate with the respondent. So she feels like it might jeopardize her safety for them to have FaceTime over the iPad. She can just, this is a shopping list. She can just tick the box. And the respondent to contact the men's referral service. Let me share with you what the men's referral service is, right? Let's copy that. We'll go do a quick search for men's referral service.
No, you're good. While you're looking that, you got it. Go for it.
Oh, here we go. Men's referral service. So 88,000 cases where perpetrators, mainly men, should have reached out for support. Men's referral service. Let's go to here. DV New South Wales. just pick it because I'm in New South Wales. Here we go. A telephone counseling information and referral service for men who are using controlling behavior towards a partner or family member. And it's actually called, they then refer you to men's behavior change program providers, which is this.
Bro.
Works closely with men's behavior change network and their peak body no to violence. By the way, let's go back to look at that first result there. NTV, no to violence. This is the one that they're referring to when they talk about who they're working with here. That's the body. That's who they're talking about. Men's behavior change programs work with men whose abusive and violent behavior with partners or ex-partners and children typically involve assessment, etc., etc. It's basically just bad man. You need to learn how to not be bad. And here's the thing. So many guys, they will actually go to these programs because they think that by attending the men's behavior change course, then the courts will look favorably upon them and let them see their kids. But what the feminist family courts say, well, you went to the men's behavior change course. Why would you go there if you were not violent? And then you go in violent. So therefore, you're not going to get to see your kids, and it just puts you on the back foot.
Nah, no doubt. It's kind of like guilty by admission, and that's the thing. There are certain things, no matter how manly and masculine you want to be, there are certain things that you cannot avoid. Why? Because they're law. I get that. But this is why I will do everything in my goddamn power to help spread this message, because we're not in court right now. There's a man that went there, inadvertently ratted himself out by going with good intentions to try to see his fucking kids.
Right.
And now he's fucked because now he can't see the kids. So you leading the charge. You have to keep spreading this message so that way somebody can learn from their mistakes. I can sit back and say, yo, that shit has nothing to do with me, but it's affecting my brothers. It's affecting men. And that's what I'm here for, bro. I'm not here to take responsibility for other men's actions. I'm here to do me, but I am here to say, yo, knowledge is power. Read a book, go online, listen to Sydney, rewind, listen, say, okay, these are the laws that are in place. Before I can expect to change a woman, before I can expect to change a law, I have to be the change that I want to see. Hopefully that'll cause a chain reaction in my other brother and my other brethren. And then eventually, once we are unison in numbers, we can get those laws to change because everyone is following the same protocol, and men need to follow the same protocol in their own right. But there have to be some fundamental things that we do that we're not going to tolerate, or we just have to be smarter in the way that we're moving.
We've got to follow the same protocol that works for us, because the protocol that we need to follow is different to the protocol that women need to follow, because the rules are different for C and D. So check this out, right? This is the Judicial College of Victoria. Now, if we go to resources and we go to family violence, we go to the family violence bench book, and I will throw it up. Oh, damn it. Give me 1 second. Yeah. Hold tight there. Hold tight there. If you spit some out while I grab this parcel.
Go for it. Go for it. Just in response to our Vero, that list is designed for cherry picking. Absolutely, man. And that's the thing. Women are given resources to cherry pick, aside from their looks and everything like that. But I think men have to be more selective too. We have to cherry pick as well, with the knowledge and knowing that those laws are in place. And we also have to be reminded that women have a lot more selection than we do. So to combat that, we have to focus on ourselves. We have to focus on ourselves, control what we can. So that way that when we do have an opportunity to vet a woman, or we do have an opportunity to have a long-term relationship, we're going to be smart because we're equipped with the knowledge. We've also done our research as far as picking a woman. So that way we can minimize the inevitable truths that are out there. Because again, these are inevitable truths right now. Doesn't mean they're going to be forever. But again, if we continue as men to have a defeatist mindset with everything, with the laws, with women, with ourselves, our genetics, we are never going to progress, and women will continue to outshine us because they're winning, because you're allowing them to win. We can't do that shit anymore, bro. We can't do that. So I just wanted to no dead air.
No, man, 100%, 100%. You're absolutely right, and I think that you said that very well, actually. Now, I just wanted to also share that. You know how I was talking before about the gear that I purchased,
right?
So my my equipment, my portable power bank to power the Rodecaster, so I can go mobile with my studio, has arrived.
Nice, bro. Looking forward to that, man. That's gonna be a nice change. You know what I mean? Being on, traveling and stuff. That's awesome.
All right, here we go. Get this
live on the air, guys. You see, he's investing to give you guys better content and better quality, man. We appreciate that.
Here we go. It's get out of here. I just gotta break this seal.
Now you good. Take your time, bro.
Like Donovan Sharp and Joker and all of the men are using this Rodecaster deck. It's where you get your sound effects. So like
nice.
For example, what do I got here?
These nuts. God.
Yeah, it's important. You know, it's important to have those things to make light of a serious situation, man, because these truths can be very disheartening, man. It could take a lot of wind out of your sail, but the fact that you're investing in creating some type of funny or laughable sound effects is important to kind of make light of shit, because we can't just keep going on a dark path, man. We can't take shit so seriously, because if not, we're never going to be able to make it.
Hey, you ever seen the movie Van Wilder Party Liaison?
Oh yeah, it's a classic. That's old school.
Did you pick that line out of there? Because you know what line I'm talking about.
No, I didn't. I mean, that's an old movie. Nah, I haven't seen it in a while. That's with Ryan Reynolds, right?
Yep. Shouldn't take life too seriously. You'll never get out alive.
No.
And also, worrying is like a rocking chair. It gives you something to do, but it doesn't get you anywhere.
Bro, running in place, man, like on the goddamn treadmill, bro, for sure.
All right. So check this out, right? Now that I'm back, Family Violence Bench Book. So this is from the Judicial College of Victoria. So this is where all the judges and all of the lawyers and stuff get their information from on different things. So this is the Family Violence Bench Book for the law panels, you know. Social context, terminology, nature of family violence, children, men, no women, just men. Let's have a look at what men says. Men's use of violence towards family members. Men's behavior change programs, the preferred approach. Unhelpful and unsafe approaches to men's use of family violence. Responding to men who claim to be victims of family violence. They got it so rigged that even if you claim to be a victim of family violence, they'll still make you out to be the perpetrator. Let's have a look at this. While men can be victims of family violence, there's the little disclaimer. Men are more likely to be harmed by a stranger than a family member. Quantitative research clearly indicates the majority of incidents are perpetrated by men against women and their children. So that it couldn't even get two sentences into something talking about men who are victims without making women the victim. The following section look at things judicial officers should bear in mind and some of the questions they can ask when assessing a situation in which a man claims to be a victim of family violence. Incidences of abuse towards men. So here we go. Men who are the principal users of family violence often try to present as a victim or the victim of violence. Sometimes they succeed in convincing themselves, police, and others. This is because many men try to avoid responsibility by seeking to justify the violence directly or indirectly, or to blame their partner, perhaps for provoking an attack or for giving him no way out. Many men try to make their account of the situation seem more believable or credible by portraying their partner as being hysterical, irrational, and a danger to themselves, or even mentally ill, while they present as calm, charming, eloquent, and in control. Many men claim injuries such as scratch or bite marks inflicted on them by their partner in self-defense as evidence of their victimization. Self-defense actions can also be presented as tit-for-tat fighting, perhaps by saying that she gives as good as she gets. It is important to remember that people experiencing fear or terror will sometimes make bad decisions, which might add to their portrayal as being hysterical or out of control. So apparently when women are acting out of fear or terror, that's why they act hysterical or out of control, because they're so fearful and in so much terror from the man being violent. Women, if they feel safe enough, may undertake small acts of retaliation, which may be construed as evidence of a pattern of violence. So basically what they're saying is, if a woman does attack you because they feel brave enough to, then that's just retaliation against your violence. That's not actually an attack on you. So they're not at fault still. So when you look at all of this, this is all just reverse engineering. This is the whole women are the primary victims when they're killed, and women are the primary victims when men are killed because they lose their husbands and sisters and brothers and fathers, right? So it's like no matter what happens, the woman's the victim. And this is the legal system in Australia. This is what's going on.
Yeah. There's a lot of lazy people out there, a lot of lazy men that won't take the time to do this research and due diligence. So the fact that you're breaking it down in these segments is very important for men to kind of know that these are the things that are in place. And I think there's enough information out there for men to know that it's men have to be very selective in the things that they do, the way that they move, who they associate with, etc. It does not, we do not have a pass to be who we need to be as men. So I say that to say this: all of this information is extremely valuable. What's more valuable than this information is the action that you put behind receiving the goddamn information. This information is important, but what's more important is what you're doing with the information. It's kind of like going to university, having a bachelor's degree, a master's degree, and not working in your field, but paying a student loan of $100,000. What are you doing? So I say that to say this: if most men, I think realistically, in theory, we're better together than apart as far as men and women. We don't need women, but it's important for us to know that if we're going to deal with women, that we know what comes with that shit in today's society. And the more knowledge you have, from what Sydney's putting out, the real content creators are putting out, and what's out there, you'll be able to maneuver accordingly. That's what I keep saying. I keep preaching. Men need to think for themselves, but they need to do the research before they make a move. You cannot make a move blindly and then blame Sydney or send Sydney a super chat and say, yeah, Sydney, you were right. He was right because he gave you the information, but that doesn't mean that that's how he's living his life. You guys have to understand that. Sydney has a life, bro. Sydney is not here to save. Sydney, listen, and I'm speaking from my perspective, metaphorically. What I'm saying is this: men need to start taking ownership of what is out there, the information that's out there. This information that Sydney found is accessible to all of us. But if you're not going to do the research, is it his fault, or is it a woman's fault for you putting yourself in a situation that you could have prevented? It's your fault. So
you really got to dig. This is not easy stuff to find. But once you find a fucking rabbit hole and a half,
bro, especially after the hours that you work, the money that you're putting in, you got to groom yourself, you got to eat, you got a life, and then people are taking all this information for granted, and yet they want to blame women and feminism. It's not about feminism, and women are here, but it's what you're doing with the information. It's like the definition of an insanity is doing the same thing, expecting a different result. How much more content does Sydney have to put out for you guys to realize that this information is not going anywhere, and there will be no change unless you change your behaviors?
Yeah,
that's what it is. We got to listen. The manosphere needs to change, right? But the audience needs to change more so, because we can't evolve and give you guys more information unless we see progress and see that you're ready for the information. It's kind of like truth. People want to know the truth, but they're not ready for the fucking truth, Sydney. So Sydney, it's like the audience is keeping Sydney stagnant because you guys are not listening. We have to evolve together. There's levels to this shit. So if the audience is evolving, Sydney can evolve, and we'll get stronger, and we'll make the change that's needed for us to live a life that we deserve.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely true, AV. And like, man, I got to tell you, I love these chats we have, because you and just got this energy. By the way, your Alpha Villains logo above.
Oh yeah.
That needs a cap, bro.
I'm working on it. I got some things cooking, brother. I got some things cooking. Trust me. Yeah, behind the scenes. But I appreciate that. Yeah, that's the lion, the two lions. That's basically it's the good, the bad, the ugly. You know what I'm saying? So, but I'll get to that when it comes out. Thank you, bro.
Yeah. No worries, man. No worries. So, yeah, and there was one other thing as well. Yeah, so like, I mean, look, I think we pretty much covered off on this, but you know, I got to get going soon because I need to get some sleep, bro. I'm working again. I'm working again tonight.
Sure.
But I really wanted to share with people this, guys, masculine frame. You know, you hear toxic masculinity, masculinity's what? Fuck that. If you have masculine attributes typically attributable to a man,
right?
Not a male, a man.
Facts.
Right? And I'm talking bone structure, and testosterone actually does shift your bone structure, by the way. So I'm talking bone structure. I'm talking, you know, your physical appearance. Work on your nutrition, lift weights, foster testosterone production, avoid soy milk, avoid soy products, avoid lots of carbs unless you are carb loading for the purpose of heavy workouts. And again, you have to know your nutrition to be able to get away with doing that. So just all of these things. So if you can actually, you know, do this and better yourself, not only will you start to notice a physical shift, you will feel a mental shift because your hormones shift with your physiology, and your hormones dictate your neurology, and your neurology dictates your thoughts, your patterns, your behaviors, your responses, how you actually connect with people. You know, all of this stuff comes together. So this stuff is so important to be conscious of and be aware of and work with.
Absolutely. You know, let me piggyback on that real quick because I know we're winding down. Masculine frame, you know, I think men have to identify what masculinity is to them. And they have to determine what a man means to them, not necessarily what the media says, but what they want it to be, and be that. You know, it all starts within. It starts with your mindset. It starts with, and people will start to feed off of that. It's not going to happen overnight. And be prepared to lose friends, family, acceptances that you have currently, because they're not going to be used to the new you, but you have to be who you want to be. So I encourage every man to do the research, do the research, man. Take some goddamn time, do some research, go on Google, go on your phone, look up things that you want to be, and be it. Make a vision board for yourself. Do something that's going to make you better, that's going to point you in the direction to be the man that you want to be. And in conjunction with what Sydney's telling you, like I said, I encourage everyone to challenge your favorite content creators like Sydney or CGA, Young Man Daily Red Pill, to push them. And the only way that they're going to be pushed is by seeing the progress in us and you. So
up your game and be a leader. Be a leader by example.
Facts.
You don't need to be competing against anyone specifically. Like, man, you know, I would love to be at the same content creation level of CGA, but I'm not gonna compete with him because his delivery style is not my style. So I'm not in that space. I'm not trying to fight for a slice of his pie. That's his pie. Coach is eating the whole damn pie, and I want him to have that pie. I got my own pie.
Nah, you know, but I will say this in your defense, man. There's enough for everybody. You can have a whole pie. He can have a whole pie. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of people that need this message, bro, and the people that may resonate more with you than CGA, and vice versa. So it doesn't matter what he's doing. Just make sure that you are successful in your own right. And I encourage every man to try to be successful in their own right. Simple.
Straight facts, brother. AV, thank you so much for coming on, man.
Pleasure, bro.
We had a comment here, said Sydney and AV, excellent show, guys. 10 out of 10.
Thank you, Russian. Thank you, bro. Yeah, man. I appreciate you, Sydney, man. Again, you know, like I said, anything you need from me, bro, I got you. Let's just finish strong. Let's finish the year strong. And I appreciate you having me on, man, because we have it took me a little bit to warm up, but you pulled at my heartstrings. So I started getting hyped. So I appreciate you for having me on, man. Straight up.
Indeed.
And one last thing, bro. Like I said, you know, keep doing your thing, man, because again, like I said, MGTOW has a very bad stigma, and you know, you are doing your thing to clarify, not for the sake of clearing your name, but because of the man that you are. So I applaud you for that, man. Thank you for having me on, brother.
I appreciate that, man. And again, I know I've mentioned this several times, but thank you for your support that you're giving to myself and other content creators. If you want to get a shirt like this, or a peace over peace sleeve shirt, or you want to get no sympathy, or you want to get the truth is censored, there's a ton of killer lines that AV's got all over his shirts. The link is in the description, and AV has been kind enough to offer 15% off to anyone who uses the code SIDMGTOW. That's also in the description as well. So please support the brothers that are supporting the Manosphere. If you're looking for a neat t-shirt and you want something with a design on it, fuck JJ's, head on over to Alpha Villains.
Holla at me. Yeah, holla at me, man. DM me. We got you.
All right, brother. I will catch you in the next video. We're going to start doing this fairly regularly, I think, because this is fire, and guys need to like. And I think people are really resonating with the way that you and I vibe off each other.
No doubt.
So, you know,
let me know, bro. Anytime, Sydney. Just let me know, bro. It'll be my pleasure.
Thanks, brother. I appreciate it. Catch you in the next video, guys. See you, AV. Peace.